Hello everyone. In today's video, what we're going to be doing is, could bears survive on Sky Island? We'll start with the living bears of today. So let's get started, shall we? American black bear. For their habitat, they will live in hardwoods, birch, maple, coniferous forests, woodlands. But some bears are adapted to cold climates, since Skull Island does not have any cold environments. They would struggle a little bit. And for black bears' birth rate, typically have a litter of 2 to 3 cubs every 2 years. And they hibernate during winter, since Skull Island does not have winter. But nevertheless, they typically hibernate in hollowed out dens in tree crevices under logs or rocks, in banks, caves. And they are omnivorous. They feed on roots, bulbs, tubers, grasses. But they do eat carrion of meat, like salmon, catfish, trout, ungulates, and even carcasses of animals. Eurasian brown bear. For their habitat, they will live in grasslands, sparsely vegetated lands, and wetlands. And for their birth rate is around 0.86 offspring per adult female per year. For their litter size is 2.3 cubs. Larger females tend to have a larger litter. And the gestation period ranges from 180 to 266 days. And for their diet, they're omnivorous. Formosan black bear. For their diet, they feed primarily on leaves, bulbs, fruits, roots, although they also eat insects, small animals, and carrion. For their habitat, they will live in temperate areas. And for their, as a solitary animal, Formosan black bears do not stay in fixed shelters except for females during their breeding period. And their pregnancy lasts for 6 to 7 months. When each birth produces 1 to 3 cubs, will be nursed by their mother for about 6 months. When they are strong enough to leave the den, bear cubs will remain with their mother for approximately 2 years. And a giant panda. For their habitat, well, they would live in bamboo forests, secondary forests, evergreen, broadleaf, and conifer forests. And for their diet, consists of bamboo. These are specialized animals. And on Sky Island, in the film where Kong is eating bamboo, those are very large bamboo. Well, if they could survive, they would have to evolve to be much larger, not King Kong sized. And although adults have few natural predators other than humans, but the young are vulnerable to predators. And their behavior, well, they spend its life roaming and feeding in bamboo forests. Giant pandas are generally solitary. Each adult has a defined territory, and a female is not tolerate of each of other females in her range. Social encounters occur primarily during a brief breeding season. And they're the only bears that do not hibernate. And their gestation period is somewhere between 95 and 160 days. The Himalayan black bear. For their habitat, they will live in moist temperate forest mixed with deciduous broad level forests, a mixture of oak, thick dense underlayer of shrubbery vegetation, subtropical pine forests. And for their diet, they are omnivorous. Their diet consists of acorns, nuts, fruit, honey, roots, and various insects like termites and beetle larvae. But they won't turn to carrion if they give the chance. Their physiology adapted for arboreal feeding, with its relatively heavy front quarters and short curved claws providing support for its vigorous feeding habits. And their birth rate. Their breeding season is unknown, but their gestation period is around 7 to 8 months. And the Himalayan brown bear. For their habitat, they lived in mountain areas. and they usually occur in dens or in caves and during hibernation. And for their diet, they're omnivorous. They eat grass, roots, and other plants, as well as insects and small mammals. They also like fruits and berries. And their habitat, they will live in alpine meadows, coniferous forests, and rocky slopes. And for their birth rates, unknown. Marsican brown bear. And for their diet, they are omnivorous, mainly eating berries while occasionally eating small animals and honey. And for their habitat, they will live in high peak merge into woodlands with much water and land. High altitude grasslands. The Marsican brown bear's behavior is relatively typical of brown bears. These bears are mainly nocturnal except when they're cubs or mating, where they seem to be very independent and self-contained. Mating season for these bears. And for their birth rate. Unknown. Sloth bear. For their habitat, they will live in moist and dry tropical forests, savannas, scrublands, and grasslands. And their behavior. Although sloth bears may travel in pairs, males are often observed to be gentle with cubs. They may fight for food. They walk in a slow, shambling motion, with their feet being set down in a noisy, flapping motion. They are capable of galloping faster than running humans. Although they appear to be slow and clumsy, both young and adult sloth bears are excellent climbers. They occasionally will climb to feed and to rest, though not to escape enemies, as they prefer to stand their ground. Sloth bear mothers carry their cubs up to trees as a primarily defense against attacks by predators. Instead of standing them up trees, the cubs can be threatened by predators. When threatened, sloth bears are recorded by producing several sounds and vocals like howls, squeals, screams, barks, and trumpet-like calls are they made during aggressive encounters, while huffing is a made of warning signal, chuffing, calls made when disturbed. Females keep in contact with their cubs with grunting, yelp. And for their diet, they feed on termites ants, and bees. But they have been observed eating fruits, well, made to supplement their diet with fruits, plant matter, and very rarely other mammals. And for their birth rates, they typically have 1 to 3 cubs in their litter with an average of 1.5 offspring. And their gestation period is of about 6 to 7 months. Spectacled bear. For their habitat, they live in mountains, and their range includes clouded forests, high altitude grasslands, dry forests, and scrub deserts. And they are habitably arboreal, so they can climb trees. Now, when encountered of humans or other spectacled bears, they will react in a docile but cautious manner, unless the intruder is seen as a threat or the mother's cubs are endangered. Like other bears, mothers are protective of their young and have attacked poachers. And their diet, they are more herbivorous than other most bears normally. About 5 to 7% of their diet is meat. Their common foods are cactus, palm nuts, bamboo hearts, bulbs, fruits, and their animal prey is usually quite small. They would and for their birth rates, the gestation period is about 5.5 to 8.5 months. From 1 to 3 cubs may be born. Although this species does not give birth during the hibernation cycle, as do northern bear species, births usually occur in a small den, and the female waits until the cubs can see and walk before she leaves them. This occurs between 3 and 4 months of afterbirth. Females grow more slowly than males. The size of the litter has been positively correlated with both weight of the female and abundance of variety of food sources. And here we have the smallest species of bear, the sun bear. They are arboreal, and for their habitat, they will live in tropical forests. Although nocturnally might be common in areas frequented by humans, they are excellent climbers. And some bears are noted for their intelligence. They are shy and reclusive animals, and they usually do not attack unless provoked to do so. And for their diet, some bears are omnivorous, feed on a broad variety of items like ants, bees, beetles, honey, termites, and plant matter. And their, their births occur throughout the year and lasts 5 to 7 days, and their reported length for their pregnancy vary from 95 to 240 days. Syrian brown bear. For their habitat, they lived in mountain areas, belt forests, deciduous and conifer forests. And they are omnivorous. Grasses, shoots, berries, flowers, fruits, seeds, insects, small mammals, fish, and even livestock. And for their birth rates, unknown. Ussuri black bear, the largest subspecies of Asian black bear. And for their habitat, they live in conifer forests, broad level forests, and the mountains, moist forests. And for their diet, they are omnivorous, feeding on grasses, herbs, fruits, nut-like acorns, insects, larvae, termites, small mammals, and carrion. And for their birth rates, the gestation period of 7 to 8 months, and they give birth to cubs of 2. The Ursui brown bear. And for their diet, they are omnivorous, feeding on like small and large mammals, fish, birds, and insects, and ants, tubers, grasses, fruits, and for their habitat, they lived in forests, mountainous regions, and coastal areas. And for their birth rates, unknown. And that's it for the bears. Could they survive? Well, it's a 50-50% chance. They have to compete with Scotland's animals and predators like Venatosaurus, juvenile V-Rexes, and others. So, hope you enjoyed the video. See you later, guys.